So for those who don't know you personally, can you tell us a little more about yourself?
So I'm Fiona Hilario, one of the co-founders of Bear Waxing Salon. My official title is chairman of the Bear in the Philippines, and I'm also president and CEO of Bear Waxing of California and managing member of Bear Franchising LLC. I am the eldest of 6 kids, 3 girls and 3 boys. My parents actually separated when I was 11 years old, and my dad remarried, so that's how we have 2 more brothers. I'm also the mom of Nitchi, as you know her. She's actually known as Noelle, and she's turning 18 this year. Believe it or not, I graduated from college at 29 years old from the College of St. Benilde. I have a degree in business administration, majoring in information services management. And before Bear, I was actually an employee for 13 years, including 5.5 years in VA. My daughter and I have lived here in Los Angeles for almost 8 years, 7.5 right now, and we moved here to expand the business.
Now, when did you work at the embassy?
My first day was actually December 14, 2000. My first position with VA was PRA. That time we called it PSAT, so I was with the yellow team, handling yellow clients with Dr. Ronquillo and Dr. De La Fuente. So I stayed in that post for 2 years, but while working that post, I was actually really happy to be there. I remember Cookie called me in 2 months later and commented that I look so happy doing PRA stuff. So yeah, I was very happy because it was my goal to actually work for the US Embassy, but I wanted to move up. So I had applied for 7 positions altogether before I got the stint at HR. And HR, I think, happened in 2003, right before I graduated from college. It was Mr. Skelly who hired me for the HR specialist position. And when I left VA, I was actually the president of the VA Employee Association. It was actually the first time I was president of any board.
Now, how did you start your business?
I am the epitome of an accidental entrepreneur, had no plans to go into business. I wanted to be a career employee. Actually, my goal was to stay at VA until retirement for a while, and then a friend of mine, whom you probably know, Ruth Gabaga, she went to Canada sometime in 2004, and she encouraged me to apply. So that time, I was still, I think, working as a PRA. I applied for Canadian immigrant status, but that didn't get approved until 6 years later. So that was
your moment. How did you start your business?
How did I start? Oh my God, mali yung sagot ko.
Oh, ba't mo kinupin mo to?
Can you pause? Ay, sabagay, okay lang.
Okay,
I-ano mo na lang.
Okay, how did you start your business?
So I am what you call an accidental entrepreneur. I had no plans of starting a business anytime in the future. My goal was to be a career employee. I actually had plans of going to Canada because a good friend of mine, whom you probably know, Ruth Gabaga, went to Canada at that time. So again, no plans, but VA had sent me to a payroll training sometime in February or March 2006. So I attended a payroll training in Bangkok, and one night we went to the red light district, and I noticed that the showgirls were totally hair-free down there. So this time I was already getting Brazilian waxes for over a year, probably 2 years, and I felt that this service could actually work in Manila. So when I went home from that trip, I sat down with my sister and my sister-in-law, and we were thinking of, what side business we could do alongside our professions. And I had mentioned that in Bangkok, women were totally hair-free. And then my sister, Monique, said, you know what, when we go to Tita Matty's, Tita Matty is probably somebody you all know. She had a salon, or she still has a salon on Wendy, and that's how we discovered cold wax. And we said that, the wait over there was 2 hours, even if we had an appointment. So maybe there would be promise in opening an exclusive waxing salon. So we actually talked to our friends and family. We shared the idea. We even sent out a mass text to vote for 4 names, and Les Bear won by like 67%. So from coming up with the idea for the first time in February or March, we opened the first Les Bear waxing salon in Fillmore in Palawan and Makati on June 4, 2006.
So what is Les Bear exactly?
Les Bear is hair removal that's gentle on your skin and your budget. We specialize in the use of all natural cold sugar wax jelly that is commonly known as sugaring hair in the United States. We are the first and the biggest hair removal chain in the Philippines with over 140 locations nationwide. We're gonna close 2020 with 155 locations, and we have 2 branches here in the United States. Las Vegas, which is our first franchise, just opened 2 weeks ago, and we're very excited to expand the brand here in the United States, in Asia, and hopefully the rest of the world.
What challenges have you encountered, and how did you overcome them?
So many challenges, especially in the beginning. When I left VA, Mr. Skelly had actually offered me to work part-time. So instead of coming in 8 hours, I was just gonna come in like 6 to 11 per day. But I was gonna get paid half of my salary. I decided not to do that because I owed so much money to you guys, to the credit union. And if I had stayed part-time, I would even not have enough to pay my credit union debt. So I felt it was best to cash out. And with that, I was only left from, I think I had a separation pay of over 500,000, but after paying everything, it came out to 100,000. And the 100,000, the 15,000 I spent for my daughter's 4th birthday, because I knew, hard times were gonna happen. So I wanted her to celebrate that birthday. And that 100,000 didn't last very long. 3 months down the line, I had to actually start working part-time. I did the graveyard shift for a Korean company teaching English. And even with that, I was just getting paid like 6,000 to 8,000 a month. So it wasn't enough to cover our overhead. So I was, swiping my credit card a lot just to make payroll. Citibank was actually one of my best friends that time. We talked almost every day, coming up with a payment plan. And it came to a point that we were 5 months behind, both on rent for our apartment and rent for the store, because we lived on the 2nd floor of Les Bear Fillmore. So the owner had talked to me and asked me to actually leave or, pay up. But, after praying and talking to them, they agreed to a payment plan, and I had decided to move to Antipolo because we just couldn't afford to live in Manila anymore. And the biggest challenge, I would say then too, that happened a little later, was we got our first lawsuit, part of the business, and I had gotten sick because of that. I just couldn't handle the stress. But we overcame the financial troubles about 1.5 years into the business. That's when we started franchising. The first year we franchised, we signed 8 actually, and then everything followed. Right now we own 55 stores, and the rest are franchise. So now all is a lot better.
Now, how long have you been a member of CU?
I became a member of the credit union 1 year after I got employed, because that was the vesting period. And actually I resigned right before I left. My last GA was in February 2012, and I left for the US in May 2012.
How did CU help you in putting up the business?
CU had helped me a lot, not even with Les Bear, but I got my first car because of CU. I borrowed money to put down, and for the business we had to come up with 200,000 to start Les Bear, and I borrowed 100,000 from the credit union. So without CU, walang Les Bear.
Now, how do you see Les Bear in the next 5 years?
My 5-year plan personally actually started in 2019. So for 2024, we have a target of 1,000 locations in 5 countries. My brother, who heads Philippine operations, is focused on expanding more in the Philippines and regionally, and I'm taking care of North and South America.
Now, for the people out there who are interested, how do you become a franchisee of Laybear?
Very simple, but just to let you know, most of the locations that are still open are already provincial locations. You just email our franchise manager, Mex Gutierrez, if you want more information, and that's Mex, MEX, at lay-bear.com. And just let you know, the franchise investment is 3.6 million roughly. That started from 200,000, but as you know, most of our locations, if not all of our locations, are already in the malls. So the overhead and the investment is really much higher.
Do you have any tips or advice to the CU members?
I do actually, and I say this all the time. It sounds like a cliche, but work hard, pray hard. No, sorry, work hard, play hard, pray harder, and always pay it forward. But for actual tips, based on my own learning experience, the first would be to pick a business that you love. I've been doing Laybear for almost 14 years and I haven't worked a day. I look forward to it every single day. I come into the office, I eat, sleep, breathe Laybear. Number 2 would be to take care of your health. As I mentioned earlier, I was sick for a year because the stress of running a business just got to me. And people always think that you have time to take care of your health once you're successful, but it's actually the other way around. It's well-being first, and then success will happen. And third, and again, I learned this the hard way, I didn't really value, saving money before starting a business. And once you have a business, all of your resources will be exhausted. So, maaga pa lang, magtipid ka na. So, huwag masyado mag-Starbucks, or I know VA, you like going to Spiral, doing bonus or payday. So that's something you have to sacrifice if you really want to own your business someday. So again, final words, I'd like to thank Credit Union first for helping me put up Laybear. And for this honor, I hope that you learned something. If you want to contact me, please follow me on Instagram at lay-bear. No, sorry, Laybear Queen B. Or you can email me at fiona@lay-bear.com. Thank you so much for your attention.